Hey everyone! My name is Tracy and welcome back to my channel. As some of you may have noticed, I'm not filming in an outdoor venue today. And that's because it's been raining continuously in Singapore for the past few days. So it's been rather difficult to film outside. But not to worry, once the sunshine is back out, I'll be bringing you outside to enjoy the beautiful Singapore scenery once again. Today, I'm going to share with you my resignation survival guide. Since you're watching this video, you might also be thinking about quitting your job. You may also be thinking that, well, quitting your job is easy. Just type your letter, submit it to your boss, and that's it, right? Wrong. If this is your first time quitting and you would like to learn how to quit professionally and to ensure that your resignation goes smoothly, then this video is for you. Not only am I going to share my resignation survival guide, I'm also going to share with you my resignation experience so that you will know what are some of the things that you should or shouldn't do. Before you dive into this video, do check out my previous video over here where I share with you how to financially prepare for your resignation, because you really don't want to be unprepared for it, right? Okay, without further ado, let's dive in. The very first step before you submit your resignation letter is to check the notice period in your contract. When you have made up your mind to quit, most likely you are emotionally charged. Like you really dislike a job, you're feeling really dreadful, and you can't wait to leave immediately, like tomorrow. Unfortunately, most of us will have contractual obligation to fulfill regarding the notice period for quitting. A common notice period is 2 weeks. That means if you decide to quit, you have to submit your letter 2 weeks in advance to your boss so that your company has enough time to find a replacement for you. This notice period varies and it depends on your contract as well as your work experience. If you hold a high-level position in your company, then most likely your notice period will be much longer, and sometimes it could be even as long as 2 months. If you would like to know how to calculate your notice period correctly, then do check out the Ministry of Manpower website to find out more. The link is in the description box below. Okay, now that you've found out your notice period, it's time to write your resignation letter, right? Nope, not yet. The second step is to actually check your bonus payment dates. Since you're planning to leave your job, might as well make the most out of your company. Check to see if you have any bonus payments coming up soon and plan around it to see if you can stay a bit longer to receive that bonus. But of course, if you're planning to quit in April but your bonus only comes in December and you can't stay for another 8 months in your job, then it makes sense to skip out on your bonus. But if you're planning to leave in October, then you may want to consider staying till December to enjoy the last bonus payment. Okay, now we know our notice period and the bonus payout dates. It's time to write that letter, right? Not so fast. The third step is to tell your boss a few weeks before you quit. I understand that you may feel uneasy to approach your boss in person to tell him that you're quitting your job. But if you don't want to burn bridges and still want to build a good rapport with him, then telling him in advance would be better for you and him. Not burning bridges is the professional way to quit, because you never know if you need your boss's help in the future, or if you ever need to work with your ex-company again. For example, I have an ex-colleague who quit and then joined another company and came back to work with us as a vendor. Imagine if he actually burned bridges with our bosses back then when he quit, and the bosses have a bad impression of him. Well, it would be kind of awkward to be working with his ex-boss, isn't it? Informing your boss in advance before you quit your job is a form of courtesy and respect. And it is extremely important if you have a good working relationship with your boss. By giving him the early heads up, you're not only giving him more time to find a replacement for you, you are also giving him a chance to offer you something else in return. If your boss really values you as an employee, he may want to retain you. And in return, he may offer you something, like for example, changes to your work scope, a pay raise, or even a promotion. And the best part is, if what he's offering you is what you are looking for, then great! You don't even have to resign. You don't have to go through all this hassle. But what if the things he's offering you is not what you're looking for? Then I guess you know what to do. Please, Tracy, tell us it's time to write the letter already. Sorry to disappoint you, but there's still one more step before we get to that. And that is to check with your boss when is he going on leave, especially long leave. Wait, what has that got to do with your resignation? Most of the time when you submit your letter, you have to either email him or submit it to him personally. So, can you imagine how awkward and frustrating it would feel if you had already planned to submit him the letter only to find out that he is now away on a 2-week-long vacation? You may think that, that's no big deal, I'll just leave the letter on the table for him and he'll see it when he returns. Yeah, sure, you can do that, but that's a very unprofessional way to quit. Because when you officially quit, your boss would have a lot of paperwork that he needs to do, and he needs to work with HR to find a replacement for you. By leaving that letter on his desk and waiting for him to return 2 weeks later to see it is essentially depriving him of several weeks of time to take action. And when he's away, you wouldn't really want to text him or call him just to tell him that you're resigning, right? I mean, no bosses would like to receive a call or text when they're on vacation to learn that their employee is leaving. You may want to avoid the sticky situation where your boss claims he did not see your letter on his desk when he returns. Because sometimes letters do get misplaced, and you have to trouble yourself to show proof that you have indeed submitted your letter 2 weeks ago. And this is even worse if you had skipped step number 3, where you didn't tell him in advance that you're quitting. So, to save yourself all this trouble, do check with your boss when is he going on long vacation so that you can submit the letter to him before he leaves. Finally! We have reached the step to write our resignation letter. Woohoo! The 2 most important things in your resignation letter is the effective date of your resignation as well as the date of your last working day in your company. This brings me back all the way to step 1, whereby we identify the notice period of your contract. Ensure that you calculate the dates correctly. If you give more than your notice period, then it's fine. But if you calculate wrongly and give less than your required notice period, you would be giving people the impression that you are blur, and HR would either return your letter or make you pay that penalty. So don't put yourself through all the hassle and embarrassment. Double check your calculations. Now that you're finally done with that letter, it's time to choose the day to submit it. If you can, Choose to submit your letter on Thursday or Friday morning. Why Thursday and Friday, you may ask? Well, let's go through what happens after you submit your letter. Most likely, news of you quitting will spread like wildfire because your boss is informed, HR would be informed, and your team members would be informed as well because they need to know that their teammate is leaving, right? Now, imagine all the office gossips that you have to deal with. And the longer you have worked in your company, the more people you'll know. And sooner or later, everyone is going to swarm to your table and they're going to be bombarding you with questions like, why are you leaving? When are you leaving? Where are you going after this? And personally, I feel that the worst part is having to deal with unsolicited advice. There will definitely be people coming to you and giving you some piece of advice on what they think you should be doing other than quitting, or what you should be doing after you quit, etc. Alright, I know this may sound like I'm complaining, and I do agree that, well, when people give you advice, it also means that they kind of care for you, right? Like they're worried for you, they want the best for you. That's why they try to give you their piece of advice and hope that you would stay or reconsider your decision, or perhaps hoping that you won't take the wrong step or make the wrong mistakes. I get it. I'm actually very grateful for all of them. But having to deal with all these unwanted comments, advice, questions can be really very stressful at times. And especially if you have already been so overwhelmed with emotions for quitting your job. So let's say you submit your letter on Monday. You will have to deal with all of this throughout the rest of the week before the weekend arrives. This can be very stressful and draining, and you wouldn't want to put yourself through this. If you can submit your letter on a Thursday or Friday morning, then at least you will have the weekend to rest and to recompose yourself before you face all these bombarding questions and comments following Monday. Okay, now time for some additional advice. If you want to submit it on a Friday, don't be like me and submit it on Friday evening. The mistake I made was that I submitted my letter on Friday evening, and it was after my boss has left the office. But it really wasn't intentional because I was just so busy with work, and of course, well, having to submit a letter is quite daunting and very stressful for me, especially when it's my first time quitting. So I really don't know what to expect after I submit the letter. So what I did was I kind of procrastinated, and I got so engrossed in my work that I completely forgot to submit it. And by the time I realized, it's already 6 p.m. and my boss has already left the office. But I still submitted anyway. Not very professional, but well, I just can't bring myself to wait another week for the next Friday to submit my letter. Well, thankfully for me, my boss is willing to accept the letter even though he's only seen it the following Monday. But that's also because I've already informed him beforehand, and even before I submit the letter on that Friday, I believe I told him on Thursday that I am planning to quit and I'm just drafting up the letter. So he's already expecting the letter to go to him. But yeah, don't be like me because not everyone's bosses is as kind as mine. And maybe you also didn't communicate that well to your boss that you're leaving, so he may not be happy knowing that you submit your letter on Friday after he left the office. Congratulations! You have finally submitted your letter and HR is now processing your resignation. The last thing you need to do is to organize your outstanding benefits and utilize them as much as possible. Some benefits that you may have are your remaining vacation leave, dental claims, medical claims, and funds to purchase welfare items. The mistake I made was that I didn't check that I have some dental and medical claims left that I haven't used. And guess what? On the last day of my work, after I've already left the office with all of my belongings, I actually had a painful wisdom tooth that I had to go to the dentist to pluck it out. And the bill cost me $160. The worst part was, my wisdom tooth had been giving me some problems a few days before I left my job. But I decided to ignore it, and unfortunately it got worse on the last day of my job that I had no choice but to, visit the dentist and have it plucked. So if I had known that I had unused dental claims, I would have gone to the dentist earlier to get it checked, and I wouldn't have to pay any dental bills because a few days ago, I was still considered employed by the company. But sadly, I didn't do that, so yeah. Therefore, don't be like me. Check all the welfare benefits that you are entitled to and do utilize them as much as possible before the last day of your work. And also, if you have any claims that you need to submit, do submit them early and not wait until the last day because HR might not have the time to approve it. Okay, we have come to the end of another video. Now, if you're still feeling a little nervous about quitting your job, then do click on the link in the description box below, and I'll be emailing you a PDF copy of my Resignation Survivor Guide. It includes a resignation checklist, as well as letter templates and some useful links. Alright, all the best for your resignation, and I'll see you in my next video where I will be inviting a friend to talk about the untold truth of quitting your job. See you in the next video. Good luck!